right understanding, the right mindset is has been an amazing day for many of us. Many of you should have been a tremendous amount of profit, the luxury of being the signal, being empowered. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is our BYOB Market Talks. We're here tonight to enhance and add to what you've already been able to accomplish. Absolutely excited for each and every one of you. We've decreed and declared that this is the year of transformation. This is an opportunity right now for you to take this information and transform your household, your places of fellowship, your community. We're absolutely excited about our crusade, 1 million families financially educated and impacted, and we will not leave any stone unturned. So with that being said, this has been a moment of great anticipation, being able to share with you some things that many of you have often wondered, and just absolutely excited to know that God has graced us with such an amazing uh, instructor that you're going to hear from tonight. Many of you already know who she is, but when God gave her this strategy, I mean, he did it in the most excellent way. And being able to take a strategy like the BYOB cash out strategy, and no matter what market we apply it to, it works. And that's what we're going to share with you tonight. So without any further ado, it's my privilege to turn this call over to someone that I have the utmost amount of respect for. Uh, just the work ethic is just impeccable. Her willing to serve and ensure that your families are equipped. Just one of the best persons that I've ever had the opportunity to meet. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the call over to the one and only trade whisperer herself, Miss Tasha M. Dye. Miss Dye, are you on the line?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I am definitely excited to be here with you all this evening. So let me officially welcome you to BYOB Market Talks. Yes, BYOB Market Talks. And so as you're logging on this evening, as Mr. Rogers just stated, make sure you drop it in the chat, you know, where you're calling in from. Drop it in the chat. And before we get started here this evening, let me just make sure that I definitely thank our visionary. You know, this movement is here based on the simple fact that he had a vision and he was able to walk it out. No excuses, no anything. You know, you see something, you want it, you go get it. And what he wanted was 1 million families financially educated and impacted. He wanted the barriers to be broken, those chains to be removed from individuals around the world like yourself who had absolutely no idea that this information was hidden in plain sight. And so I'm just excited, right? I'm definitely excited, you know, to really be here with you this evening. I'm excited because, as he stated, you know, tonight is a special night for each and every last one of you all. Now, as I just stated, you know, just make sure, you know, you drop it in the chat where you're calling in from and those affirmations. This is BYOB Market Talks. So tonight is a tools training. Tonight is a tools training, okay? That is what tonight is, a tools training. And so what we're going to do is we're going to dive in. So let's see, who do we have on the line this evening? I see Peachtree Corners. Good evening, Merrimer. So I see Minnesota. Good evening, Columbia, Minnesota. And I'm not gonna call them all out, but at the same time, you know, North Carolina, Chicago, Moultrie, I definitely see Bahamas, BYOB Worldwide, Jacksonville, Cleveland, so many of you all, right? Definitely so many of you all on here this evening. Now, let me see Fort Washington, Nashville. So each and every last one of you all, I'm definitely excited, right? Richmond, Virginia, Toledo, California, Santa Barbara, Covington, Columbus. Okay, you guys are calling in from everywhere. And so I know as you continue to log in, so let's talk about it, because tonight I want to start with your mindset. All right, tonight I want to start with making sure, excuse me, that you all are definitely in that proper mindset and actually in the right mindset. So that's definitely what I want to make sure where you are and ultimately what's really transpiring. So where does that begin? Okay. And it's so important. It's so important. Now, I am a BYOB master trader. Now, why is that? All right. Why do I need to be a BYOB master trader? Well, let's think about it. You are a master trader. And where we're headed tonight, and what I want you guys to understand is that no matter what, no matter where you are, you know, as long as you have the proper mindset, as long as, you know, is there, then ultimately you are definitely going to, I mean, literally, as long as your mindset is there, you can accomplish anything that you want. So let's just think about this and let's just really put this in perspective. So you are, you know, I just talked about our visionary, who is the spokesperson of our premier tool, which is the vibrata. He made a decision. And when you make a decision, no matter what it is in the very beginning, no matter what you see, you cannot make your decision based on what you currently see, because what we saw was, right, what do we see? We didn't see 1 million families because it hadn't manifested, because it was still, right, it was still a vision. And so what is your vision? Write the vision and make it plain. So there should be so many of you all on this call, so I should not even be able to scroll through the amount of affirmations. I am a BYOB master trader, right? I am the signal. All my trades end in profit. I need to have an expectation. I am the signal. I am the signal simply means that you are in control. You are in control. You are in control, right? You understand how to navigate the markets. You understand how to read the markets. You understand that. And then all my trades end in profit. There is an expectation. The same way there's an expectation for you to get paid when you go to work. All right. And so ultimately, that's where we are. Ultimately, that's what it is. And that's where you want to be. Okay. And so let's go ahead and dive in, because what we've been talking about, okay, we've been talking about helping you understand how to read the market. You know, we've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks. And there are some things that I share with you all that you are definitely going to really need to understand how that works. Okay. You are definitely going to really understand that, because when you understand that, you are completely unstoppable. When you understand that, like nobody and nothing can get in your way. And I mean, literally nothing. You know, you create your narrative, you create the value, you control your destiny. And so if this is your first time with us this evening, you know, this is your first time here, let me get a 111 in the chat. And if you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. Awesome, 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 awesome. So welcome, welcome, and welcome back. Okay, welcome, welcome, and welcome back, you all. So welcome, welcome, and welcome back. So this is what we're going to do. All right. First things first, as I'm definitely about to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to help you understand what the BYOB cash out strategy is, going to recap, and then of course, I'm going to share something with you. All right. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared together with you all. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see here. And let's talk about the BYOB cash out. Let's talk about it. Now, some of you all are new to us this evening, so let me go ahead and explain to you exactly how this works, okay? Let me go ahead and explain to you exactly, you know, how we do this, all right? I'm gonna go ahead and explain it to you. What we do is tonight, on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights are actual trainings, okay? It's trainings. And so we do trainings tonight. On Tuesday is back to the basics. It's really diving in, understanding the BYOB cash out strategy. That's what we do on Tuesday nights. And then of course on Thursday nights is tools training, okay? So we want you to understand exactly what the BYOB cash out strategy is. And then of course, we want to make sure that you are able to facilitate that. You're able to understand how to take the trades, understand, you know, how to read the market and utilize the tools effectively. And so that's the purpose of that. And then what we do in the mornings is we help you navigate and understand how to implement it. And we do it where you're empowered. We're about completely empowering you. That's who we are. That's what this is about. That's what this movement is about. And so this is why we walk you through trades. It's why we navigate the charts. And what I can tell you is when you are actually empowered, when you grasp it, then what ultimately happens is you are really able to, you know, when you grasp that and you understand it, you're really able to understand how to navigate it a little bit deeper. And you'll have the consistency that you're looking for. You'll have that consistency that you ultimately desire. That's what you're going to have. And so you always want to put yourself in a position where you understand it and you're able to navigate it. So now what we do is for the BYOB cash out strategy, we start here, okay? We literally start here on a 15-minute chart. Now, I don't want you to stay on the 15-minute chart, but what I do need you to do and what I do need you to understand is that this is where it begins. So you can continue to trade on a 15-minute chart, but I want your mindset, I want your skill set, I want it to always be developing, okay? That's what I mean by that, okay? That's exactly what I mean. Now, here we have it, okay? Let's talk about the strategy. So now, 3 simple indicators, all right? And as we go through this call, if you have questions, drop it in a chat, drop it in a chat. I guarantee you, we're definitely going to get, you know, I'm going to get them answered. That's what we do. So now, as I'm looking at this, 3 indicators, my stochastic, which measures momentum. I'm looking at this to be around the 80, and I'm looking at this to be around the 20. You know, I'm looking at this to be around the 80 and the 20. So as I'm looking at that, all right, around that 80 and around that 20, what I'm looking for is a blue line cross over the red in a downward momentum. I'm looking for the blue line to cross over the red in an upward momentum. That happens around the 80, it happens around the 20. That's ultimately where it happens, and that's what you're looking for. Now, also, all right, also, what happens then is I'm looking for my two lagging indicators. These are Hikanashi candles. Now, Hikanashi candles, they are not traditional candles. These are your traditional candles. This is what you're going to see in the academy. You know, what we use are candles, Hikanashi candles. So these are actually an indicator. And so their trend, they measure the trend, all right? That's what they do. And so when it measures the trend, then so what we're looking for is a flat top. So it alleviates the back and forth and all of the noise that actually happens, right? It alleviates all of that. It alleviates all the noise that happens between the buyers and the sellers. All right, that's what that does. Now, my PSAR are dots, okay? My PSAR are the dots that are at the bottom is pushing for a buy. If they're on the top, that confirms my sell. So you need all 3 of these indicators. So let's just look at this. I have my blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. I have my green candle with a flat bottom, and I have my PSAR that actually has flipped to the bottom. So now as I'm looking here, and you see this, all right? I'm looking here, and you see it right here. Now, what I'm looking for, okay, what I'm seeing is I definitely need that flat bottom. Now, I can guarantee you this has had a little pullback. When you see something, now remember, we're looking in the past, okay? We're looking in the past. And so when you see a little dot like that coming out of there, that is a flat bottom candle, but that happened somewhere in the trade. It wasn't like that when it started, okay? Just kind of, you know, keep that in mind. It definitely was not like that when it started. And so understanding that it was not like that when it started, you know, what I want you all to grasp is that as we're looking in the past, you know, if it has a wick, you know, you definitely don't want to touch it. If it has a wick like this is a wick, this is a wick. You see, if I'm looking for that sale, all these wicks here, I don't want to touch that. But when you see this little dot poking out of it like that, I can guarantee you, okay, that was a little something different, okay? That's what I can guarantee you, that's what that was, okay? That did not just happen, you know, right now. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind, okay, as we look at this. And then also what you see is we have that dot, that PSAR. So now that we see that we have it, everything lined up, which it actually lined up on this candle, but I wanted to make sure that you guys understood it from right there, from that perspective, okay? This is what I wanted to make sure that you grasped that and you understood it from right there. Now, we have our indicators, right? It's all lined up, okay? Got my indicators, it's all lined up. And so what we wanna do right now is, as I come here and I'm looking at this, all right, as I come here and I'm looking at this, now I wanna do what's called time frame confluence, all right? I wanna do what's called time frame confluence. And understanding what time frame confluence is I need to definitely check my time frames. So sitting here on, sitting here on the 15, my time frame confluence is the hour, right? It's the hour. That's what it is. So I need to come here and where do we go? Where do we go? Here we go. So you know that we're looking for a buy. And so my confluence is there. Now, when you check your confluence, let me tell you something else that's ultimately important. All right. This crossover and cross up. Very, very important. Okay. Very, very important. And as we dive down, all right, as we dive down, what you're seeing is I'm still buying on the 5 minute. Now, that crossover and cross up, okay, this is what I mean. And this is about to be very important tonight. So if you have not been paying attention to this, I need you to begin paying attention to this, okay? If you have not been paying attention to this, that's something that I definitely need you to do, all right? Definitely, definitely need you to be paying attention to this. So now, that's time frame confluence. Now, what do I do? Okay, what can you do from there? Well, what you can do is you can definitely grab your 10 pips and cash out, okay? You can grab your 10 pips and cash out, or you trade to the support and resistance line. Now, that's it. Your stop loss goes below the PSAR. So let me explain to you all. I want you to understand because of things that we've been discussing. So now, as I look at this, I can see support and resistance lines, okay? This is going to be ultimately important, okay? I want to, I cannot stress this enough right here. So let me see here. This is going to be ultimately important. Drop. So hold on, so let me see here. All right, so give me 1 second. You guys know. Let me see here. Let's try this again. All right, so this is ultimately what we're looking for. Just bear with me. This stuff is locking up on me just a little bit. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. All right, support and resistance lines. Now, I'm showing you this because when we're looking at this, you can definitely see that they're important. So for what we're training on tonight, I need you all to understand big picture market, and I need you all to understand what happens as we drop down. So let me give you just a quick recap, just a little bit, okay? Let's just recap just a little bit. So big picture market. My big picture tells me what the market's doing. My big picture tells me where the market's going, okay? That's what my big picture does, okay? That's what my big picture does. Now, that's my higher time frames, my hour and my 4 hour. Now, if anybody has a question on the strategy, let me know, because what I'm trying to do with you all right now is give you a sense of a recap. So what we've been training on and what we've been looking at. So if you're new to us this evening, go back and watch those last few Thursdays, okay? Go back and watch those last couple Thursdays. Now, all right, so impulse, correction, continuation. I'm on a 4 hour right now. Impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. So once again, in the midst of where all of this happens, okay, in the midst of where all of this happens, is around support and resistance lines. So yes, on my higher time frame, I have support and resistance lines. On my lower time frame, I have support and resistance lines. What's going to impact the market, okay? What is going to impact the movement of the market is the ones that are on the higher time frame. all right? So those are the ones that are going to impact the move of the market. Now, what happens, and I'm walking backwards to what we've been training on, okay? Now, what ultimately happens is as we drop down, right? What ultimately happens is you begin to see more. Now, we've already made the determination that the market is in a buy right now. We're in a bullish market. The market is in a buy. Understanding that the market is in a buy, it has not shifted and it has not turned around, because if you think about what we trained on last week, and just to kind of recap, it will have to break this last significant level. So this is a higher high, this became a higher high, then this became a higher high. It did not, as it came down, when this one pulled back, it did not break this level. Right now, I have absolutely no idea, how far it's going to pull back. You never know, right? You never know how far. Look at this one. It was a small correction. This one was a small correction. This one was a bigger correction, right? And let's look at this correction for the higher time frame. That's an 80 pip correction. So ultimately, because it's a GBP pair, which has the most liquidity, that for a fact that that's quite a bit. And so from a higher time frame standpoint, many of you would trade this correction, many of you all. And so we kind of break down. So what level on the hour will we break a trend change? Now, it's not about the level, it's about market structure. And that's what we trained on last week. And so what I'm doing right now is trying to give you a recap so I can tap on what I want to train on tonight. But it's not about, it's about market structure. So it's not necessarily that if I'm looking at it. So for example, on my higher time frame, you saw I'm still in a buy. But you notice that when this pulled down when I drop down the time frame, I get trends on each time frame, right? I get market structure on every time frame. But if you're trying to understand the big picture of where the market's going, I need my higher time frames. As I come down, you definitely see, look at this, right? I have a trend change right here. So this literally, and it broke that last significant level. And so when it broke that level, I mean, this one actually shot up this morning. We talked about it on this morning's call. So that's what happens. But what I'm trying to get you to understand right now is that's what we've been training on. Okay. That's what we've been talking about. That's what's actually been transpiring. Now let's keep dropping down. So as we keep dropping down, you're going to see, like, no matter which one I'm at, you're going to see that those support and resistance levels, as I keep dropping down, as I'm moving down, you're going to see like impulse correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, right? You see how it works and you see the market. So what I need for you all to understand right now is support and resistance. That's what I'm getting you all to understand right now. Support and resistance lines. Understanding how they impact market movement. You've heard me say over and 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 over again that they are actually your lifeline, right? Over and over, they're your lifeline. And so ultimately what happens around these support and resistance lines, so what triggers is the vibrato here at the 5 minute. A lot of the alerts, they trigger, of course, the 15, you'll see some on an hour, you'll see some on a 4 hour, but they trigger consistently, okay? And trust me, tonight's training might be a 2-part training, but I need for you all to understand this, all right? I just need for you all to grasp this, and I want you to understand why we did it this way. So now what you're seeing is when it comes around here, what happens when a trend change happens? What happens when we break those trend lines? What happens when all of that transpires? What happens? Well, I'm gonna tell you what happens is that as you drop down, what you start seeing, you notice that you'll start seeing that around here, as we break through there, it never just breaks fully through. So even though, unless we have some strong market momentum like this was today, because you see on the 15 minute, this one broke through. But what ultimately happens is you notice how now I'm starting to see more activity. It pulls back up, it pulls around that support and resistance line, and it pulls down. I drop down some more, what's going to happen? Now, you can see all the activity that actually happened around this one. Like we said, we had some news this morning, so that's why that one did it. That does happen. But normally what happens is when you get around those support and resistance lines, you know, that you'll see that it hits it, it pulls back. Now look at this one, for example. All right, because we're gonna dive, we're gonna go down a little bit deeper because I want you to see there's activity, there are market patterns on each time frame. So here it comes up, it pulls back, goes through it, retests it, and keeps going. Are you with me? Are you seeing this? 555 in the chat. Are you with me? Are you seeing this? All right. Even here, as I drop down, what do I start seeing? I start seeing more market structure. It's breaking this, okay? So look, I have another trend that's happening here. So now this is where the difference comes in. I'm so glad you guys are with me. This is where the difference comes in. Higher time frames tell me where the market's going. My lower time frames is all the activity, all right? My higher time frames is where the market's going. My lower time frames is all of my activity. But even on my lower time frames, okay, I still get market structure. I still get those same things. It's just that they don't get to dictate where the market's going, right? They don't dictate where the market's going. Even if I drop down to the 1 minute, all right? Now I gotta find the candles. So even if I drop down to the 1 minute, here we go, my candles. So even on the 1 minute where every candle is a minute, do you see market structure? What is it that you see? You see activity. And look, this is the one that broke through. This is the one that broke through. And look what happened. Now look what you're seeing. It tapped it, it pulled back, it broke through, it corrected, and it kept going, right? So you see, it still follows the same patterns. And this is the one that kind of shot up. So we didn't get a small where it comes back and retest it. You notice it didn't even come all the way back down to the line, and that's okay. But you're seeing the same thing, right? You're seeing the same activity. We're seeing the same patterns. That is what we're seeing. We're seeing those exact same things. And as we're seeing those, this is where it's important for you all to really grasp and understand what we're talking about and what we're doing. So now I'm going to take you all to something else, because what we've done is I've created, you know, with what we've done is we've created empowerment in you all, right? We've created you all to be empowered. And so everybody has a different ways they like to trade. Everybody has different things that they like to trade. Everyone has those things. And so because we have those things, what I'm gonna do is I like to incorporate tools. You know, we've been dripping and dropping and telling you all that we had something coming for you. You know, you are so welcome. And you know that, but we're gonna do everything in excellence. And so understanding that we do everything in excellence, you know, yes, I'm about to share with you right now your HFX, BYOB HFX Simplified. That's what we're going to do, because this is what you all need to know. This is what you all have to be able to understand, that I can take the same skill set, the same mentality, but we're going to do it with excellence. We're going to do it in excellence. You know, you say you was just thinking it, but you didn't want to say it. But we want to do it in excellence. What simply means is that you want to understand the movement of the market and you want to understand how that happens. And so we're going to really take these tools and we're going to implement that. And that's why I say it might be a two-part, okay? But these are things that you're going to need to understand as we dive in. So let's get the basics, because we do everything in excellence, okay? So here's our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, there's a playlist. You come here, you click playlist. And when you click playlist, you see this where it says derivatives and futures, options, HFX. Foundation was laid. This is a talk with the finance doctor. You need to understand what transpired. You need to understand what has happened. You need to understand how it works. Guess what? HFX Simplified. BYOB HFX Simplified. So this is going to give you the foundation. And when you click on it, it's literally, you know, it's literally 3 videos. And so that's going to give you, right? If I click on this, let me make sure it's muted. I want to make sure it's muted, but okay, let's get the ad. And so I'm about to all right, so you notice that we have 3 videos there, and that's really what I want you focused on. You know, that's where I want you, is understanding that you have these 3 videos that is really going to walk you through. So you have your part 1, you have your part 2, and you have your part 3. So you want to get a great foundation. You want to understand, you want to understand why they are what they are, how they came into be, what happens, you know, this is what you want to be and this is what you want to do. So you want to go back and watch this, okay? That's what you want to do. Then, of course, you want to determine what broker you're going to use. So what I have set up for you right now is just regular, you know, pocket option. So you can use whichever one you want, but this is pocket option. And so I'm definitely going to, you see, I pulled up a demo account. You know, this is definitely, nothing has taken place in here yet. So you want to be able to start there. Now, there are a few things that I want to walk you through from an understanding standpoint. Now, we're not analyzing anything here. All right, let me be clear and upfront and transparent. We're not analyzing anything here. What we're doing is the same way on my MetaTrader 4. My MetaTrader 4 comes with a platform. It comes with that, but we're going to do everything in excellence. We're going to bring it back to the vibrato. All right. Everything we do, we're going to bring it back to the vibrato. I want you guys to get into that habit of analyzing and doing it all right, the right way. So now with this particular broker, they have different ones. You know, different brokers offer different things, you know, but you can definitely, you know, when we're here and what you're looking at, like I say, different brokers offer different things. So this is just an option. All right. This is just an option. And so as I'm looking at this, you can go in and you can here, okay, here you can come in and you can select your currency that you want to trade. And I'm going to walk you through getting those currencies and what we need to do to grab those currencies, okay? And then there are a few things you need to understand, right? Right here, okay? I have a call, okay? Means I want to buy. Put means I want to sell. So now this is the biggest thing. This is what I need you to understand, okay? Let's come back over here for just a moment, okay? For if you've never heard about options before, you have no idea what they are. You know, go watch those YouTube videos. That's why I put them up. Now, I don't know anything about them. So, you know, kind of think about it from that perspective. So as I'm looking at this, now with the trade, some of the questions that we get are, well, how long will I be in a trade? Well, how long is this? With this, each candle, one candle is, I'm on a 15-minute chart, means one candle is 15 minutes. One candle is 15 minutes. One candle is 15 minutes here. One candle is 5 minutes. One candle is 5 minutes. One candle is 5 minutes. So it doesn't matter. You can sit in a trade for 3 days, you know, waiting on it to take profit. You can sit in a trade for 4 days for, you know, 4 minutes. You say, oh, you were in a correction that seemed like forever. So that can happen. You know, the market can consolidate. All of these things can happen. But when you're looking at it, let's look at how many pips this is. Okay. I go up, that's 8 pips. Okay. I come up here, that's, you know, that's 7, that's 4. So they're different. And so, but with, you know, so you know that you set your target and you just ride the wave, you know, as long as it doesn't hit your stop loss and it hasn't hit your take profit yet, you just ride this wave no matter how long it takes, you know, and that's fine. But with an option trade, okay, with an option trade, it's either win or lose. You know, what you set your time for, if you set it for 5 minutes, if you set it for 1 minute, if you set it for an hour, it's either, hey, I win or I lose, and that's it, okay? That's what you do. It's either I win or I lose, and that's the reality. And so, you know, that's the understanding that you need to have. You win or you lose. And so you want to make sure, you know, you want to make sure that as we do this, and you know, you want to make sure that as you see this, you understand that. So that means that if I get in a trade right here, so understand this is a line. Let's say I look at it right here. I get in a trade right here and I go, you know, I take that call, okay? That means that, well, it can be a pipette. If it moves a pipette, like if it moves a pipette above, it closes 1 pipette above, you want to trade, all right? 1 pipette, it can close 100 pips above, you want to trade. It closed 1 pipette below, you lost the trade. So this is why what we've been doing is so important. We're not guessing at this, okay? We don't do anything in guessing. We analyze and we take trades. All my trades in profit, meaning I have an expectation, right? I have an expectation for my trades to take profit. That's what I have, is an expectation for my trades to take profit. And so you want to analyze. And so now what ultimately is going to happen is thank you. BYOB strategy is the best. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. So, so now as we're looking at this, what you want to understand is when you do your analysis, I do need to know, check my 15 and my 30, like for example, and we're going to go apply this, and that's why I said this might be 2 parts, because we're going to walk you through an excellence to where you really grasp this and you understand it. And so as I look at this, that means that this has to rise. Like, so I know, let's just move this over here. Let's get in now time. So on my 30-minute, I'm buying, okay? My hour, I'm buying, okay? You can see that I'm not buying on my 4-hour, but it ultimately turned around. So all right here, I'm buying, okay? All right here, I'm buying. Now, what's going to be important to you here is you're going to, let me show y'all, let me come back. I'm gonna add my 3-minute on here because now I'm concerned about my lower time frames. Now they matter. And also they always matter, but they matter now. So this is going to be really, really important. And on these low time frames, now, once again, I'm not using them to determine the direction of the market. I'm using them to determine those key entry points. I'm using them. So yes, my support and resistance lines on these also matter, okay? My support and resistance lines on here also matter. These are extremely important. And let me explain to you why. And so what I'm giving you right now is the psychology behind it before we put it into action. Let me explain to you why, all right? Is that here, you notice that how close it gets. Now you see I'm on a 1-minute time frame. Look at what happens. Do you see all the activity that takes place? So didn't I just tell you about a pipette? So you want to understand where you are in the market. You want to make sure that you're in alignment with these support and resistance lines as you get ready to take your trades. These support and resistance lines are important. Now, because we always get, well, where do I draw my support and resistance lines? Well, normally I'm starting on a higher time frame. But do you see I just drew support and resistance on an hour? Do you see them? Would you have drawn these? Absolutely not. You don't see them on the 1 hour. I don't see all that activity. So I would not have even been able to identify those support and resistance. But what you're seeing is in the midst of this candle, there's activity that's happening. And so there is actually activity in here that's happening on each one of these time frames. This is activity that's taking place. It's activity that's happening. And when you understand that that's activity that's happening, you want to be able to identify that, because when I come down here to my 3-minute, this is going to be important. So something like this, like let's say I do 5 minutes, you're going to find your sweet spot. Is it 3 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? You're going to find your sweet spot and you'll understand that in a minute. So when you're looking at this, right, you don't, and I like to say, don't be late to the party, kind of think about it like that. So you're going to see how I feel about the 1 minute. That's why I'm explaining it right now. It's important. It's really important on here. And so what you're going to see is you see this little pullback. So let's say I tried to take this buy right here. Like, let's say I try to take this buy and I wait till it's up here. And as it's pulling back, or actually it'll be called a call. And you see where it pulls back and then it turns around. If you don't, your analyzation is key. So you want to make sure, so even here, you want to make sure we're pulling back up. You want to make sure, because what did we tell you? It pulls back, it pushes through, it pulls back, and then it keeps going, right? It rejects off of it. So as it's trying to go through here, it rejects, it pulls through. And of course, if I drop down, you're going to see something else up in there. So, right? And it pulls back to here. Now, these are Hikanashi candles, they're trend candles. So there's always an expectation that it's going to come back. it goes through. So this is just what it does. And when you understand the psychology and you understand how the market works, it's going to assist you and help you be able to take those trades. Another thing, we're talking about a PSAR flip. Now, two different things, right? Let me just type USD CAD in here again, all right? You notice that this is fed from different brokers, all right? This is fed from different brokers. Default broker, right here. And this is where we went and back tested it on this one. Now it was back tested on more than one, but this is the one we left it because most of the time, you know what happens. I type it in, bam. And guess what? Most people just click enter. I want you to use this one, okay? I want you to use the second one. I want you to use this one. And why is that? The PSAR flips faster. Now, the PSAR flips faster. Don't go changing your Forex trades. Please don't add to, because, you know, some of you all have a tendency, well, this is what she said. No, that's not what I said. So see, look at the question coming. As I'm answering the question, you ask the question. Is that in general or just for HFX? This is the one that you want. Don't switch it for your Forex. Do not switch it for your Forex. So that means when you type it in, you're going to have to click it, right? You're going to have to click this one. So this is what you're going, so this one, the PSAR flips faster, all right? And so, you know, so each broker operates different, just like, you know, think about it. Some have different spreads so I'm telling you what I've tested, you know, what I found. Now, if you want to pick a different one and it works for you, right. So my sweet spot is 5 minutes for most of them. Yours might be 3 minutes. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you the tools so you can empower yourself. So I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you when I apply the strategy, I can tell you what we've back tested. I can tell you what I've been in the lab with. I can, because this is not, look at when these videos were. All right. Look at the dates on these videos. This was July the 3rd. You know how long we've been? Everything in excellence. All right. When did you start seeing it? BYOB, HFX Simplified. Everything in excellence. We're not going to just give you something that we have not tested and proven. All right. So when I come in here and I tell you, type in USD CAD, you know, this is the one that you want to select. And so when you come here and you're looking here, if I just click this, guess what it's going to do? It's going to come there. If I just click this, it's going to come here. It's going to come to the default one, the first one. So now you can use these alerts, but we're going to utilize all the tools. I am Master Academy. You know, the same way we go pull from the harmonic scanner, the same way we go pull from the bounce back, the same way we pull from the DeLorean, the same way we pull from everything. What we're going to do is we're going to pull from the training. So let's go into my academy. When I go into my academy, all right, when I go into here, you see where it says strategies. I click strategies. I come down from strategies. And when I come down, you see where it says HFX. When you click HFX, they have 3 different ones. Doesn't even matter which one you choose. Doesn't even matter. Now, understand that no matter which one you choose, these are nothing different than, you know, they're scanning the market as well. It's just other tools that's doing the heavy lifting for you, scanning the market. Now I'm taking this back to the vibrato though. I don't need all these other indicators. I don't need anything else fancy. I don't have to add all this stuff to it. So if you want, this is, you know, cash trap, cash out, cash trap, you know, I don't need any of this, right? So I don't have to utilize all of this. Everybody, every educator can do things how, you know, every people trade differently, but I'm telling you, I'm bringing it back to the vibrato. We've already tested, it's already proven, okay? I'm bringing it back to the vibrato. So the only thing that you're doing over here is I'm looking at this GBP JPY. I'm looking at this GBP USD. This triggered 4 minutes ago. It triggered for a call, okay? Triggered for a call, right? A call 4 minutes ago. I'm gonna bring it back to the vibrato. So, and we already have this marked up. So let's see here. And I actually want this by my thing. So let's see. And we have about 15 minutes left. Oh, you know what? I'm on a 1 minute. It's gonna take me forever to get back there that way. Right? It's gonna take me forever. I'm about to just refresh it. So how about we do this? Going here. Okay, so now what I just tell you, you're gonna need to do, and we all gonna do it. You're gonna just come here, GBP USD, and you're just gonna click it, right? That's because it's just human nature. Click enter, and you're gonna be like, oh wait, no, I want to go GBP USD. You have to manually select it. Okay, you have to manually select that broker. Now, what did it just do? It triggered, right? Say, oh, we have, so wait, did this thing just update? And we're in the middle of this. So let me see. So GBP, oh no, the other ones were a call. I'm like, wait, this one is a put. All right, so GBP USD for a put, and you can see where it triggered at 1.39578, right? You can kind of see where that trigger was. Then I come back over here, and now I'm gonna tell you what I do. I always come back and I kind of check. So 10 minutes ago, this one triggered as well. So now I'm gonna tell you, all right, that the difference is the vibrato hits everything for you. You're gonna get a lot of options with the vibrato. All right, the vibrato is, and we've trained on this. And so once again, go back to those Thursdays where the vibrato is going to kind of show you every single thing that's in there. So, like every time it triggers, every time it hits. So what I'm looking for is, we kind of looking at where both of them are, 3.9. Now, do you have to like manually type in this, or can you look at your own support and resistance lines? But I'm showing you this to kind of show you where that trigger happens, okay? Because it's just happening, it's saying it's looking for a sell. Now, what we know, let's see, let's analyze. We know that the market has us in the overall sell on the 30. What is the big picture of the market? Yes, it looks like I'm selling, okay? You see how significant this line is. We talk about this all the time, right? How significant is this? You see on the 15, I'm getting a correction off of this, okay? You see on the 15, I'm getting a correction off of, is bouncing off of there, all right? My stochastic is starting to curve up. I come down, you see same thing that's happening right there. So what you're seeing is a little shift happening. So what you're looking for is to see, does it even make sense for me to attempt to take a sell, or do I want to, what am I looking for? So I see that on a higher time frame that I'm pulling down. Now, remember, you're not going to be in this that long. This is a little different than what we do. Like, for example, let me show what we talked about this morning. So for example, okay, like right here. All right, let's just say right here, we were looking in this zone over here, and you're talking about taking a buy. We already know where we are in the market, right? We already understand that you are spot on. It was like the scalper should be so good at this. You are 100 and like 200% correct. Yes, you are. So now, when you're looking at this and we're like, no, you need to wait. Do I not take this trade? You know what I'm saying? So scalpers unite, absolutely. And so you're like, should I take this trade? What should I, so this, no, absolutely not. As a, for Forex, setting this, and we're like, no, we're not going to take this. You're dipping for pips, this and this and that, right? But for HFX, oh, you're going to have a blast. You're going to have a lot of fun. So as I come, like even for down here, as I come back down to this one, and I'm looking at it, okay, you can definitely see where, like, if each candle is 5 minutes, where I'm dropping down, and now you see each candle was 1 minute, you can definitely see how this rose above and it stayed above. So if you took a trade for 5 minutes, you took the trade for 5 minutes, right? The trade for 5 minutes, guess what? You're golden, you're heaven. Well, like, why look at the hour? Because I need to understand where the market is. This is why we've been trading on this. So I'm not trading off of the hour on here, but I need to understand where I'm at. So the 15 and the 30 is key. These are the 15 and the 30 are really critical. But when I'm looking, like, I need to understand the big picture of the market. Just imagine, right? As I'm sitting here and, like, let's say this was, you know, like let's say this was buying or something, what is the probability of, like, let's say, like coming back right here. Let me put this circle back around here. Great question. I want you to understand it. So let's say this is buying. So this is 2 hours, right? That's 2 hours. I only need 5 minutes. I mean, literally, I only need 5 minutes. That's all I'm looking for, because it's like a 5-minute trade. So if I'm looking right here, okay, and I know that my stochastic is pointed up. I know that I have a green candle. I'm pointing up. I have a green candle. All of this is right there. I know for a fact that all of this is pointed up. I know that my 4 hour, look at, I'm pointed up, because remember, you don't see that curve down when we were looking over there. Everything was still pointed straight up in the air. Remember, only need 5 minutes. So I understand the big picture of the market. I understand the market's buying at this time, right? I understand it. I'm not looking to ride the wave for a while. I'm looking to surf the wave. You know, I'm looking to, you know, we're not riding the wave, we're tapping the wave, whatever, you know, however you want to think about it. So, you know, so as I look at this now, if I'm on the 15, my 15 in this arena is also buying. You know, my 30-minute is also buying. So everything is pointed up. So what is the probability of me taking profit, right? Remember, I don't have to do, so next week when we do this again, I'm gonna talk to you about compounding, you know, I'm gonna show you some of that, I'm gonna show you these things. That's why I said I knew for a fact this was going to be a 2-part. So as we look, and now look at this. So now I'm on a 5-minute. So if I took my trade, I know for a fact that I'm going to stay up, right? All my trades in profit. For me to have all my trades in profit, that means my analyzation has to be there. This is why we walked you guys through this. You know, this is why we took the time to walk you through this over the last few weeks. Now look at this. Now you see 3-minute, I'm buying, right? 3-minute, I'm still buying. So when I'm down here on a minute, each candle is a minute right here. So when I'm down here, every candle was above. Every candle was above. When I broke through this, every candle was above. So if I do a call for 5 minutes, I do a call for 5 minutes, I'm in profit. Even this pullback doesn't bother me. I'm in profit. I'm in profit. And so what you're going to see, well, come back next week. It's 2-part. So no, not necessarily. I'm gonna talk to you about compounding, because you say, oh, I'll be back. I'm gonna talk to you about compounding. I'm trying to give you the foundation. I already know. Now, what I want you all to do is I want you all to kind of test it, right? You know, let me see. So what I want you all to do is I really want you all to come get you a demo account. If you've never touched this before, that means a week of demoing, you know, that means a week of demoing is going to be great for you, right? A week of demoing is going to be wonderful for you. And that's what you need to do. So don't worry about compounding right now. Right now, we're focused on skill set, right? Right now, we're focused on skill set. And that's what I want you to do, right? That's what I want you to do. So I intentionally is breaking this down. So, and I'm gonna just show you, right? I'm gonna just show you really quickly. Like, I'm not taking it. So I would just come in here and I'm gonna pick GBP USD. Now, this is also what I want you to understand. All right. This is also what I want you to understand. This says 66%. That means that whatever like going back to the question, you know, how much profit? So like, let's say if I took a $5 trade, it means I put $5 out there, then I'm going to profit 66%. So let me just say $1, you know, you know, if I put $1 on here, what is that, 166, I will come back and profit. So this is how this works, that whatever you put out, you're going to keep, you win your trade, you take profit, you're going to keep. Let's just click on this for a minute. I got a few minutes and I can show you this, because I do want you to be able to take some. So now we're here, we're the analyzation. So this is the one I lost. So it triggered for a sale. right? That's what it triggered for. We missed it, and that's okay. But you know, you see how, because I was explaining this to you and it began playing out. And so you notice that, let's just talk about that though, because you saw it play out. And so this actually happened because I was asked that question, why am I looking to see what's going on? You know, why am I concerned about the higher time frames? I want to know what the market's doing. And you notice it actually pushed through there. And so when I come here and I'm down here on the lower time frames, this actually pushed through. And so now that we're waiting, what you can ultimately do, so what you can ultimately do, like, it's bouncing off of there. This is why these things are so important. And this is why I need that PSR to flip. So I'm gonna wait on that. Look at how it's bouncing off of there and it's pushing up. So let's say you grabbed in this and you jumped in this and you didn't wait on the PSR to flip. Now you would be where it didn't take profit. Remember, it's only 5 minutes. And now look at what it's doing, right? It's bouncing off of there. You're gonna see a lot more movement on the lower time frames. If I'm on a higher time frame, what does it look like it's doing, right? What does it look like? I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to tip my take profit. You know, it can happen fast. You know, I put in that GBP USD trade this morning. All right, I did. I took the trade this morning. I put in my buy stop and I put in my take profit and I went to the gym. And when I came back, I was almost in profit, right? So yeah, I just want to, you know, so like just kind of think about that. But this is literally 5 minutes. And so just for the sake of time, okay, just for the sake of time, you know, I want to just show you how it works. So we'll see this beginning to curve back. So this is just for the sake of time. So as I'm looking here, okay, so I want this at 5 minutes, okay? I want you to start at 5 minutes. You'll find your sweet spot, okay? You will definitely find your sweet spot. And so a few of the things that I want you to pay attention to is, you notice that where this line is 3957, 1.39578, okay? So we starting to curve back down. Where are we doing over here? I'm really not happy about putting this in. I just want to kind of show you, you know, it's actually pushing up right now because it's like I just want to show you what I'm talking about. You would want it to be around this line at 1 point, you know, because you see it's probably coming up to here. So around that 1.39. So what you're looking for is you're looking for that around here. All right, because that's ultimately where we're going to come back in touch. You're looking at that around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click the button. You know, I'm just clicking the button for training purposes, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm clicking the button for training purposes. So you notice that, oh, see, and I didn't make the adjustment. Pay attention. Make sure you pay attention to that, okay? Because we don't want to start a trade at $100. We just don't. You see how it pulled $100 out of my account, and you see how the movement, but I have 5 minutes, okay?
Get your feet on.
Person, I keep muting you. So you notice how it pulls off of there. So what it does, and I was trying to do $1. So I was trying to do $1. So, but you can see that. So what's going to happen is you win this. Now, if I don't profit, the only thing, you know, this is where Forex and HFX is different. If I don't profit, right? Let's say I hit my stop loss on in a Forex pair, then you, from where you entered the trade to your stop loss is your loss, right? And that's why I always tell you guys, you want to trade from the perspective of what you believe you're going to lose, right? That's the mindset and where you want to be at. However, you know, here, if I did $1, then the only thing, I don't have $1 anymore. So if I do $100, then like, you know, I click the button and this is where your trade amount is, $100. That just means I don't have, you know, I don't have $100 anymore. And you want to make sure like I can't switch it. So you have digital trading, and of course you have where you can just set the 5 minutes on here. You got to play with the broker and determine, and I'll kind of walk you through this one a little bit more, but I keep it where we have that expiration time. You notice right here is showing you that I have 3 minutes left in this trade, right? And remember, I just clicked the buttons to kind of walk you through this and understand. So that means that you see right here, it says I have $0 in profit, okay? $0 in profit. Because of where I'm at, I'm below the line. So I will keep my $100 And so whatever 66% is of what I put up. So what is 66% of 100? Exactly, exactly. So I will walk away with $66. So I would keep my $100. So you would walk away with 166, exactly. And so because it's below, and so if I go back here, right? And we knew we were looking for a sale. It had just kind of triggered around. And so I was just trying to show you really quick. So no, I would keep my $100 if I win. So the $100 is what I put up. My $100 is what I put up, right? The $100 is what I put up. But as you can see, we're not going to keep these $100. So unless something and it just shoots back up, that's not going to happen. So you can see that right here. And it's like, I want to show you both sides of it so you understand. So we knew we were looking for a sale, but you see, I put a call in because I want you to see, I want you to understand how this works. So you're going to see that activity. You're going to see it happening right here. So now you see my time running down. I still have 1 minute and 40 seconds left. And so that means that when it hits 0, I need to be above this line to take profit. When it hits, I need to be below this line. They keep my $100 and this is my balance that's left. Make sense? So makes sense. And so now you see my PSAR flipped on the 3 minute. And so for whoever asked me, about a, what did you ask me about the 1 minute? I love the 1 minute. I love the 1 minute. And, because, the 1 minute is, the 1 minute, you see where that PSAR flipped. So right around the time we push that button, that PSAR flipped. And then of course we come back over here and now look at how far down we are, right? So we would have definitely taken profit. We would have definitely taken profit. So yes, a put is a sell, a call is a buy. This, and look, you don't even have to guess. Right here, you see the green button, buy, this is that call, it says higher. That means you want it to end higher. You want it to end above the line. Here, it says lower, meaning I want it to end below the line, right? I want it to end above the line. I want it to end below the line. I want it to end above the line. I want it to end below. So, right? So you see using a higher time frame like the 5, that's what I mean about finding your spot, because that's exactly what I mean about that. Because you see, I didn't start on a 1 minute. So yes, look in here, like the 5 minute. Now you don't want to trade against it. You don't want to trade against it. And one thing I will tell you, because I know it's time to transition, but we're going to just a few more minutes and then we'll transition this call. One thing is, see, look, your trade has been closed, profit 0. So profit 0. And one thing I want you guys to understand is that, and that's why I did it that way, because I mean, we knew it was going to sell. We just talked about it. So, but I wanted you to see how this works. So now you see I have $900 in my account. It went at 5 minutes, right? And 0, and it only took the $100. Now, had that been in profit, you would have, if it would have been around there, you would see this fluctuating. What I don't want you to do is kind of get in there where you're consolidated, or get in here and you're like, well, what is it going to do? I don't know, And so if I understand, like, if this one is selling and then this one would have been buying, we would pass it on. And so what I want you to understand is, because a lot of people will tell you, look, it's actually changed. It's gone down to 50%. A lot of people will tell you that you only want to take the trades, with the higher numbers. Like, I only want to take the ones that are sitting at 80 and 70, and they kind of scroll through here. But what I'm going to show you next week, and this is why I want you to practice first. I'm intentionally not showing you right now. But what I'm going to show you next week is how you focus on a skill set and the money's going to come. How you do one thing is how you do everything. We're not chasing these numbers. We're not chasing this, because if you apply it properly, you apply this, then what's going to ultimately happen when you get these triggers and these tools? I'm going to show you how to compound. Absolutely, you need to be enrolled. Absolutely, we're utilizing the tools. I just showed you all tools. So, and if you should be enrolled in the elite package, you definitely need to be enrolled with the elite package, because that's how you have access to all of this. I'm not enrolling just for HFX. I'm not enrolling just for FRA. I want access to everything. If I want wealth, then I'm going to do what's required. I want the wealth, I'm going to do what's required. I want the wealth, then wealthy people do, mindset has to be there first before, your mindset has to be there first before you see it manifested. I started this call out talking about the visionary. He had a vision. And because mindset was there first, now we have international impact. We have global impact. People's lives are being changed around the world because he walked in it first. I walked in the mindset of being a Forex educator, I walked in that mindset when I was still learning. And so now we're having global impact, and God blessed me with a strategy that I created. So it's all about your mindset. So we want to operate in that mindset of I'm going to do everything in excellence, meaning that I'm going to do what's required to take me to that next dimension. And so this is ultimately, so I have access to everything. So I come here and just select which one, because you see, you get quite a bit of, you get quite a bit of triggers, you get quite a bit of that. And then also, even the ones that come through on the vibrato, because we've already talked about and we've trained what the vibrato is. And I mean, you can just come in and unclick all of these and just keep it on a 5-minute. And as I keep it on a 5-minute, right, you can see, and then and now if you see them on both of them, right, I see them on both of them, right, they're both reading the same thing, because this one is looking, they're doing different things. This one is looking for where those triggers pull at, for those buys and those sells, those calls and those puts. And the vibrato is hitting every, is hitting all of those entry points, right? It's hitting all of that. And so now you can kind of see how this one is pulling back up off of there. So these support and resistance lines on a lower time frame are so very important. So, all right, I'm gonna pause right there so you guys can test it out. I'm gonna pause right there so you guys can go try it out. I'm gonna pause right there, and we're gonna do this again next week. I'm dedicating my time to you for us to really understand this for our training calls, for next week. We're going to master this. You're going to master this. So for those of you all who want to trade this, you're going to master it. So, but before we close out this call, any questions, comments, or testimonies? Questions, comments, testimonies. You are so welcome. Questions, comments, testimonies.